Welcome back, and our second segment pertains to the economic growth in Pakistan. Our Prime Minister has talked about it. The State Bank of Pakistan had talked about it yesterday in a media brief, and the IMF has also in a report acknowledged the robust economic activity in Pakistan. And now to discuss the different elements and the different spheres in which Pakistan has attained economic growth, what needs to be done, what has been done, what led to this economic recovery that has been appreciated by the IMF. We've been joined by Abdul Jaleel Saab. He's a leading economist from Pakistan. Abdul Jaleel Saab, thank you very much to have joined us. Abdul Jaleel Saab, when the IMF acknowledges the robust economic activity in Pakistan, you remember this is the same IMF that has criticized Pakistan on many an occasion in the past as well. What are the elements that have led to the IMF praising Pakistan's economic activity?
I think IMF, among other things, it's a lending agency. The very first objective that I like to follow is that how much money they can retrieve from the restructure economic model, whatever they want to create. And in this respect, they are quite satisfied the amount of the tax which has been collected by FBR. So I think the major achievement has been made by FBR, and FBR has won plus point about it, and the credit goes to the leadership of the FBR as well.
All right. The forecast is also unchanged at 6% as far as the world growth is concerned by the IMF. How much do you see Pakistan's role in that as well, and other important countries?
Pakistan, under the circumstances, have a great potential if it applies its policy in a rational manner. For example, the chain supply system in the world has been totally disturbed because of the growing academics. Some economies, even developed economies like Italy, even Germany and other, they have met with great recession and the decline, meltdown of their economy as well. Number one, and number two is number two is that the Indian economy, especially, it has suffered a lot under this Indian Delta virus as well.
Have we kind of taken any advantage from?
This is what I wanted to say, that we must try to understand and examine the opportunity that this new environment, the economic environment, is creating for us. And the government of Pakistan, and I will say, they have applied their wisdom, and to a certain extent they were able to avail of and exploit the opportunity in their own favor as well. As a result of it, we have seen that the accumulation of the foreign exchange have gone up. This is a good news for the country as well. But we need to keep up the momentum by a vigorous measure, which the government is taking as well. Prime Minister very recently has visited Uzbekistan as well. Uzbekistan it's a very important, it can play a very important role in the development of that regional economy. And they have also shown interest in the various economic projects that the government of Pakistan have taken, especially CPEX, which provide opening not only to China but to the Central Asian country as an economic corridor, as an energy corridor as well.
All right. Now, when the IMF forecasts 4.9% for next year, that is the global growth forecast as far as Pakistan is concerned.
Yes, it is a, the World Bank and IMF, both of them have given their own assessment as well. For example, World Bank says that it would grow about 3 to 4%, but the IMF says that it will go to from 2 to 4% as well, right? And United States of America over the year have only experienced a growth of 0.5% as well. So it's quite a slow growth as well. Firstly, and secondly, the state now, previously it used to, it used to be known as in the West that the state have become a rent seeking. It has developed a culture of the rent seeking, and as a result of it, it is putting a lot of tax liability, financial liability upon the people as well. But the first time we have seen now in the United States of America, the government has been forced to provide special financial security measure to its own people and to investors as well.
All right.
And to a huge extent of $1 trillion, it has been earmarked and it has been distributed among ordinary people as well as among the investors as well. because the investment scenarios have also been shaken very badly in the United States of America and in the West as well.
All right. Now, Jaleel Sahab, the State Bank of Pakistan's governor also held a media brief yesterday in which he talked about many different aspects of Pakistan's economy, including the current account deficit to be 2 to 3%. He said the interest rate is going to be unchanged at 7%. The GDP growth he also predicted at 4 to 5% this year. And he said that Pakistan's reserve buffers are expected to rise by another 2.8 billion US dollars through this IMF's planned new global SDR allocation. Are all of these pointers strong enough to bring Pakistan out of the current economic crisis that different countries are facing?
You know, we are getting positive indicators as well. Number one positive indicator I would like to say is the CPEX, you know. The CPEX and development of the Gwadar port, which gives real good news to the world and to the regional economic model, that this is a place which provides you a quick connectivity with the most developed model of the economy, right? You know, Gwadar. And now it carries a lot of promises. It carries a lot of it carries a very positive hopes for the future, for the development of the future commerce and the trade as well. And as a result of it, what we have seen, that the economic scenario have improved and the investment scenario have also improved. And some investment from outside country, from Asia, from Africa and from Europe, it is now trickling down or coming into Pakistan.
Are the remittances also helping?
Remittances have, yes, it have registered a great increase as well, both from the Europe as well as from the Middle East as well. Although we will find that the Middle East, especially the Gulf states economy, is not experiencing a very positive or a very big growth as they were expecting it, right? And especially with the low production of with the petrol and the low prices of the petrol as well. It is another factor. But it has the economic activity in these countries, they have registered some increase as well. And we got to see it, especially in service sector, number one, and number two, food and agriculture sector, it has registered some growth as well. And manufacturing sector in Pakistan, it has picked up a positive sign of the development as well, especially with certain steps which the government of Pakistan have taken in to rationalize their monetary policy with the investment policy.
Right.
The bank interest rate have gone down as well. This was a good news for the investor, and they have responded positively.
All right.
Well.
This current account deficit also, I'd like to again reiterate, that has fallen to only 0.6% of the GDP. And as per Mr. Raza Bakar, it is the lowest current account deficit in 10 years, and it is supported by all-time high exports and remittances. Remittances, we've been talking about high exports. Which are the sectors that Pakistan has really achieved good exports in?
Number one, I would like to say the agriculture, you know, it constitutes a very important sector of our economy. The agriculture field has picked up a good development as well, and we were able to especially, I would say it did not earn much revenue as well, but it has, to a certain extent, it has helped our economy. The food, especially the orchard, the fruit, and the vegetables as well. And number two, I would say, and now the government of Pakistan have taken special step for the growth of the olive garden in this country as well. And probably in millions and millions of the land in Balochistan is going to be earmarked for the growth of the olive tree as well, number two, because it provides. Secondly, I would say in the higher engineering sector as well. Pakistan, especially our auto sector, has experienced good growth. There is another sector in which we are not paying much attention, that is the IT sector and software development sector. This is a sector which is earning a lot of money, a lot of foreign exchange from the country, and there are huge prospects for earning, you know, foreign exchange from the developed country as well, because the software development technology in the West is very expensive, and we need to put a dent in this respect, as it is always said. And when we try to examine the future prospect of the economy, so we will always say it is going to be based upon knowledge development, fundamental of the knowledge.
right.
And it all depends upon that how we are able to capitalize the future knowledge and the future opportunity in the best interest of Pakistan. And those future opportunity of economic development arise from the IT development sector.
All right.
That is the special area in which the government should play a key role. The government should itself play a key role in it and commit more resources, financial resources as well as non-financial resources for its development.
Now, when we talk of capitalizing resources, the governor of the State Bank of Pakistan also said that the country's external financing needs of 20 billion US dollars will be more than met, fully met in the fiscal year 2022. And he says that as a result, the foreign exchange reserves are going to further rise. And he adds that to the remittances, of course, that are increasing by every month. And he also talks about the State Bank of Pakistan's Roshan Digital Account Initiative for overseas Pakistanis that has generated more than 1.8 billion US dollars. Initiatives such as Roshan Digital Pakistan account and so on and so forth, and the remittances, how important are these to stabilize Pakistan's economy?
You know, these steps which the government have taken, especially in development of the social sector economy, in development of infrastructure economy, has paid very well, especially our housing sector as well. The government has provided lot of tax shelter to construction industry. As a result of it, as you know, Pakistan as a country is facing lot of shortage in the housing sector as well. And in order to overcome it, the government has announced certain relief package for the construction company, and they came up with a good response as well. Number one. But what I want to say is that the trust of the investor is very important. The real I would say the victory of this government is that they were able to win the trust of the investor. And probably I would say that in this respect the government has acted consistently with its the various, although it was not, I would say, the various steps which they have taken to enforce culture of accountability in this country. Although the certain objectives have fully objective in its entire the government has promised, they could not be achieved fully, but still they have gone halfway to achieve them, and it have raised the certain the trust level of the investor, the business community as well, that at least the state has now come up with a determined determined system and with a determined regulatory framework and an objective to protect the interest of the genuine investor, business class, and the common man as well. And they will be safe from the exploitation which they're traditionally facing at the hand of the corrupt element of the country.
When there's also talk of the reduction of public debt from 83.1% of the GDP to 81.8% in the next fiscal year. How important is that as well for a country like Pakistan?
This public debt is a big menace as well, and the government of Pakistan, as the Prime Minister have also said, that a major source of our income is drained out in settling our debt as well. And sometimes we have to borrow foreign exchange only to settle the foreign debt as well. So this is a menace from which we have to get rid of by taking certain creative economic aspect to improve our economy and to generate the wealth building enterprises in this country. That's very important. Firstly, those the state enterprises which are suffering from the losses, they should be taken out of it. In this respect, the government have to take as yet a drastic step to improve the performance in PIA as well as in Steel Mill Corporation. Steel Mill Corporation is very, very important. It plays a key role in the development of the mega infrastructure development as well as in the higher engineering as well. And the steel mill, steel mill is not meant only to produce a high-graded steel, but it is required to produce a high-quality metallurgy, which is required for the development of engine technology.
Thank you very much, Abdul Jaleel Saab, leading economist from Pakistan, talking to us about the positive developments that have emanated from the IMF and from the State Bank of Pakistan Governor Raza Bakir as far as Pakistan's economic outlook is concerned, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to